welcome back to West Ham Irons United. West Ham Irons United, there we go. For the player rating show, West Ham United 3, Leicester City 2. As always, I am joined by Matt. Matt, how are you?
I'm not doing bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Another 3 points on the board. We move up to 4th.
Well, I thought we was a bit cursed to begin with because we had some bad results when we started the show, but no, we're picking up now. It's nice. We can start giving that better than ones.
Yeah, no ones in today's show. No ones in today's show. But let's take some comments. Let's see who's in. Fresh Fielder, hope you are well. Jamie, hope you're well. Fresh haircut, yes, it's all gone, thank God. It is all gone. What rating do you give Jake's haircut? 10 out of 10. Well, there we go. That's the first rank. He looks young again. I don't know what this is about. I look young and old. And here he is, Stell's in. I'm intrigued to see Stell's rating for King Arthur. But we will wait and see for that. Adam Footballer Brownie, hope you well. Hope you are well. But just before we get started, when this finishes, over on my channel, West Ham Unofficial, go and subscribe if you haven't already. I've got a special show that I recorded last night about testicular cancer and the awareness with that, with Dylan Tombides' brother and his mum, and also joined by Joe Seeley as well. So that is 8 p.m. premiering on West Ham Unofficial. So if you could, straight after the player ratings, head over to my channel and watch that. That would be greatly appreciated. But just before... haircut not looking short enough, Jay. I did think about having a fade, but I thought, no, that's too risky. I'm going on tonight, if it goes horribly wrong, I'm going on tonight. DT38 Foundation, looking good. Thank you very much. But I did have a little surprise today. A couple of mugs came in the post. Thank you very much, Anton. A couple more mugs to add to my extensive mug collection. So what I've done, if you want to go and get one just like that, links in the chat. I did that quite swiftly. There we go. Right, without further ado, oh dear, the only player worthy of king status, not Arthur. Jake has Dad's mug. Yes, I got yours here as well. Here we go. At least you went to the barber one like you with nowhere. It's growing back. Stell's is growing back. But enough hair talk. We're going to go straight on into it then with our first player, Lukasz Fabianski. So, Matt, Lukasz Fabianski is 7. Thoughts?
Well, it's weird because he's had like the same. It's been the same for the last 3 games. Essentially, like in the first half, he's had almost nothing to do, and it's just been like back to the walls in the second half. I mean, in fairness, he got to half time with a clean sheet in this game, which he hadn't done in the last 2. But I mean, he didn't have a lot to do at all in the first half. They only had a couple of chances, and I think they were off target. As always, his kicking lets him down a bit. I mean, he's never been known for his kicking, so. But he made a couple of big saves in the second half. I mean, the one that really comes to mind is it Pereira when he 1-2 got through 1-1. He got dived at his feet because I mean, essentially that was a goal. It was a goal save. Well, it was a game-winning save. So I give him a 7. He wasn't like he didn't do anything wrong, and he made the saves when he was counted on. Yeah. I thought it was a typical, say, Premier League goalkeeper performance. Really, there was no mistakes, and he was relied when counted on, which is what Fabianski normally does. He rarely makes mistakes, so he's a solid 7.
Yeah, and I feel he definitely, you mentioned the Pereira instant where I thought he really did. He guarded his box well. He had authority, and there was a few times where he come out and collected the ball when balls came in behind. But let's see what you guys are saying. So we are rating Fabianski 7. Safe offset by poor kicking. Yeah, his kicking does let him down. So we're going 6. Actually, on those saves, I'll give him a 7. Stell says 8 for that fingertip save against Pereira, which looked like he would have scored. So Stell's giving him an 8. Fab 7, no worries and no mistake. Love his subtle time wasting. Fab 8. And yeah, I think that area, a solid performance from him. As you said, Matt, he doesn't make mistakes, and just a complete solid performance for him. Just a solid performance for him. But we'll go out onto the right hand side now, and we'll have a look at Vladimir Coufal. What if you gave Coufal then, Matt?
So, I mean, I could give Coufal a 7. It's weird because I think this is really we've conceded 7 goals in the last 3 games, but this was the first game out of the 3 where we actually felt solid defensively. Like, I know we were under pressure, but we seemed to be doing well with it, and it was only 2 freak errors really that led to the goals. But I've given Coufal a 7. It's defensively he was solid as always. Got a good assist for the first goal.
He did, yeah.
Could have got high rated if he'd scored or got another assist. There was that point where the counter attack and he got into the box and had a nosebleed and didn't know what to do with the ball. He got a goal. I think he got torn between the two. But he is, like I said with Fabianski, he rarely makes, if any, mistakes. He's extremely reliable. He's hard working. You know what you get out of him. I give him another 7.
Yeah, completely. Right, let's rate Coufal then. Loads of comments are coming in. 28 people watching. Keep your comments and ratings coming in. So Gary has said a 9. 7 for Coufal. Says Anton, Coufal a consistent 8, never lets us down. 7. Coufal 8. Show me a better right back in the league. I mean, that's a shout. That really is a shout. Coufal dominated his side. Too bad he didn't shoot, but he's a beast. 7. Yeah, I feel where he got there. He did get the assist that one time, but when he got into a good position once, he just hasn't got it there to shoot. He didn't quite know what to do, Matt, did he?
As I said, he just sort of he got nosebleed. I'm too high up the pitch. I'm not supposed to be running into the box attacking the goalkeeper. And it's he was trying to stall for time, waiting for someone else to appear. And in the end, I think it took so long for us to catch up. Lingard obviously had scuffed attempt, but he should have had a go. He should have just smacked it and seen what happened. Worst he could have done with missed. Couldn't be any worse. But look, that's the only down thing you can say about him is that he didn't do better with the attacking position, which, given he's a right back, isn't the worst thing to be moaning about, is it? Defensively, he done his job.
He definitely did. We'll move in to the centre backs, or to be fair, I mean, I think we played the 5 at the back, so the left centre back. He did have to go off, but we're still going to rate him. Aaron Cresswell. Aaron Cresswell then, Matt. I mean, unfortunate that he had to go off, but what did you think of his performance when he was there?
It's weird because how many times this season, right, especially at the start of the season, we're talking about Cresswell and Noble, and we're saying that we don't want him in the team. They're past it and need replacing. But even when Cresswell, both those goals came from that left-hand side after he came off the pitch. And it just shows you how much defensive cover he was giving and helping out with Masuaku, that once he came off, that's where sort of the weaknesses come from. So I've given him a 7. I thought defensively he was really solid. He was always in the right place. He'd actually done quite well in the air as well, considering he's not that tall. He was always offering the cover to Masuaku. Yeah, I mean, and you could hear him on the TV communicating, shouting about. I gave him a 7. I thought he'd done pretty well, to be honest. He probably would have got more, but he was off the pitch after 55 minutes. So I gave him a 7 for that outing.
It's such a shame because I know it has come out today that it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks that he's going to be out for. It's another injury worry that we've got our hands on now going into the last 7 games, but we've got a bit of cover there. I mean, he'll be a loss, but maybe, we will really, really miss him because, I mean, the goals conceded came down his side, as you said, Matt. But ratings, so Kaiser says 8. 7, Cresswell decent until his injury. 7, a steady 7. Scott says Cresswell is a weakness for us on defence, but has a wicked cross 6. Almost every goal is conceded from his side. Well, to be fair, they were the goals were after he went off, but Cresswell 7, 7.5. Oh, we're going into the 0.5s now. Position open for someone better to come in the summer. Clean sheet for him, I suppose. If you look at it that way, he did make a clean sheet. He did make a clean sheet. But Gary does says don't bank on Balbuena. We'll get to him and we'll get to what we think of him in a little while. But we will move on in the back five then. We'll move on into the middle and we'll start with the big man, Craig Dawson. I thought him and Diop had a superb performance. What are you giving him, Matt?
Yeah, I did. I said it's weird. Like I've been quite kind on the ratings this week, considering that we conceded 2 goals. But I gave Dawson a 7 as well. You know, I mean, I can't go too good because we did concede 2 goals. But again, I thought he communicated really well. He read the game well, trying to block attackers out. He always seemed to be in the right place to block a shot. You know, like he always wins his headers. It's you know, I think we bought him for potentially like 2.5 million, and the job he's come in and done. It was a really solid performance. I mean, that's probably what you get out of him. You know, probably one guys that he'll always give it his all. You know, as well as he'll chuck his body on the line. But unfortunately, he just couldn't get to the. Well, can't blame him for the first goal. Second goal, I just don't think he got there in time. Couldn't cut the cross out. Took a deflection off. But I say all round, he had a good game. I give him a 7.
Yeah. I thought, to be honest, do you think that they did all right, Diop and Dawson, considering, you know, for most of that second half, the one-way traffic that was coming, you know, Lingard and Benrahma, when he came on, we just couldn't keep it up the pitch. It was just one-way traffic keep coming back at us. Do you perhaps think that they actually did all right? I know we conceded 2 goals and we all had about 6 heart attacks in the last 6 minutes, but do you think, in the grand scheme of things, they did all right?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think we actually seemed. I know we was all having a panic attack, especially for the last 10 minutes and the last 5 minutes when they scored again. But if you go back and watch it on the grand scheme of things, the defence handled the situation quite well. They didn't get. You know, I'm not even in all honesty, I only really remember the actual save he had to make Fabianski. Big save was that one-on-one from Pereira. Apart from that, I don't really remember them having many. I mean, I don't think Vardy had a sniffle game, did he? He had 1 shot from outside the box, I remember.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they did do well. And obviously, the more players play together, the better the understanding is. You never know. I mean, apparently, I think Bowen might be back next week, so that could even settle defence down more. So we might lose game 1. But no, I think both Dawson and Diop, you can see that it's probably taken them a while to get on the same wavelength, but they're both getting there. And I said, I'm giving them a 7. We conceded 2 goals, but I think I was more harsh on the last 2 games, whereas I think we still seemed they seemed to be more comfortable today. They weren't. We as fans, we were sitting there panicking the whole. As soon as that first goal went in, we're like, "Oh no, here we go again." But they did seem to be more settled this game. We've been there before. We do it. We can see it through, rather than the panicky sort of way we've been the last couple of games. So
let's see what we're saying, right? It's all brewing up in the chat. I've been reading it as you've been talking, Matt, and it's all brewing up in the chat between Stel and Ant. Right, so it started by Stel saying better than last week, a 6. Anton's gone with an 8. Freshfield has gone 7. He is saying better than last week because Anton was questioning it, I think. And then Anton says a 6. 7. Dawson has played better. What are you on? And then it continues by Stel saying, yep, a 6 because he was marginally improved from last week. And then it goes on to say, you baffle me, Stel. And then it goes on to say, not half as much as you baffle me. Oh no, here we go. now, girls. Oh dear. Well, it's all you know. Opinions are getting across, and it's getting a bit heated in the chat. But yeah, I think 7 and 8 is where we're looking at for the big man, Craig Dawson. Love Craig Dawson. Why not? But we'll move on. It's a Diop. is the next person we will rate. Matt, it's a Diop.
I think he's getting better now. He's getting the more game time he gets. Yeah. The way he plays, he's always going to have that sort of mistake in him, I think. Which is why he always plays better in the back three. He's the guy that likes to jump forward and make the tackle, like commit to jump to a tackle. I've gone for a 7. I can't. I see. I sort of glance at the chat inside, and I see someone's already put an 8 up, and it's like I just can't give an 8 to a defender that conceded 2 goals. Yes, we played really well, but
credit's got to go though. Yeah, credit has got to go to that pass though for one of the goals. Just lapped my mind which one it was, but that pass over was superb.
Which, if that had been like Van Dijk, they'd be talking about that all week.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a Diop and West Ham. It's just like, he just punted it down the pitch for for Bowen to magically run onto. If that was Diop, it was a wonderful 70-yard ball for Salah to go 1-on-1. No, because it's Diop. It's like, he just pumped it down the pitch and, Bowen made something out of nothing. But no, it was a brilliant pass for the second goal. He actually looked all right, to be fair, when he went over to the other side. The goals come down there, but, I mean, in fairness, you can kind of maybe try and say it was his mistake for the second goal. But he did get his foot on the ball. He just happened to make the pass better because it played it into the pass of Iheanacho.
Yeah. He
didn't look out of sorts. I mean, I don't think he'll play there next week, but he didn't look out of sorts playing that left-hand side, considering he hasn't got a left foot. I'm still not sure about him playing alongside Masuaku, though, but, again, he does well in the air. He's quite good at tackles, interceptions. He had an all-round good game.
Yeah.
He dealt with the pace of Iheanacho and Vardy quite well. He was obviously the quicker of the centre-backs, and they quite quickly worked out that they weren't going to get much out of him, so they all pulled on to Cresswell. They targeted him a lot when he was on the pitch. I've gone for a 7.
Yeah. 7 and 8 is where we're looking at in the chat. Mostly 8 is what is going on. But, I feel that 7 and 8 area is where we are looking at. Right, this is going to be Stell's favourite moment of the show. He cannot wait, can he? He cannot wait. Right, the time has come, Stell. This is your time to put your point across. We are going to rate the king, Arthur Masuaku. Here we go. Right. Matt, you're not Stell, so I'm sure this will be a okay rating, but what have you gone for?
Well, he's still got the lowest rating. I think I've given him the lowest rating for the game. Yeah. He's got 6. Like, it's so... And I know what Stell always comes on here and says, it's the problem is he has that mistake in him. For all the good he does, there's always a mistake. So, he had a relatively good game, but then there was, I think it was in the second half, there's a point he received the ball, it got stuck under his feet, and he had 3 Leicester players within about 2 yards of him. They all come at him to get the ball back. And I don't even know how, but he used his quick feet magic to get round the 3 players, run down the wing. Then all he had to do was make a 5-yard pass. And he passed it straight to the Leicester player. And you're like, if there was ever a way to sum up Masuaku, that was it, He had this, I don't know if it was skill or luck or genius or what, but he wormed his way out of 3 Leicester attacking players that had closed him down. There was no space. Got down the wing. Then the easy 5-yard pass. No, he passed it to the frigging Leicester player. And then, you had the goal. The goal is just...
It's just Masuaku, isn't it? I mean, it was quite unfortunate. He got nipped at the ball and it cost a goal. Right, let's see what Stell says. Right, I can see lots of emojis from Anton, but we'll come to that. Right, we'll scroll up. Right, the first one, -5, 6, 6, 5. Overplays in dangerous areas and gives the ball away cheaply. I agree. Greener says Masuaku 6. was solid and put in some good crosses till that mistake loses a point or two for that. King Arthur, one bad mistake, but had a hand in 2 goals. Right, here we go. Fresh fielder, a generous 5, still fuming for that faffing around on the ball. I like him. There we go. Right. Masuaku 6 out of 10 until we stop bothering on 60 minutes, then 2 out of 10 thereafter, which averages as a score of 4, and that's being generous. And then Anton's like, no, for goodness sake, the agenda, everything. Yeah. There is, I think this could be the one that split opinions the most, because we're up to a 7. We are. So we've gone from a -5 to a 7 to 4. This is just all going on in the chat. But yeah.
He had some good to play. Like you said, he got contribution in some of the goals. But I said, like, the mistake for the first goal, and they were like running out of steam at that point. They were running out of ideas, and then all of a sudden, like, he just controlled. It's like if he has too much time on the ball, that comment you said before about, you know, he gives the ball away, he dawdles on the ball. If he hasn't got time to think and stop, then he's really good. Like when he's just running, he's got to do something natural instinct. But there, he had a chance to either pass it, kick it down the line, or and he just sort of miscontrolled it, prodded it a little bit, and then like 2 touches later they scored. And you're like, that's just that. And then so they go back to, you know, the 3 people closing him down, but he somehow, no one knows how he managed to get out between the 3 of them. And it's like, that's the 2 sides of Masuaku in a nutshell. This guy that can go forward and call stuff but then I give him a 6. I can't justify giving him higher than that. I feel a bit harsh giving him less because I felt his overall game played well, but then he made some silly passes and he cost us a goal. So
yeah. Before we move on to the midfield, keep your ratings coming in. I feel like I need me hat for that. Stell's going to love that. It's the other one that I'll play later. But I feel like I need the hat for that. To be fair, I haven't got the head to cover up anymore. But I feel like the hat just needs to come out just for you, Stell. Just for you. Mark Noble. We'll move on to Mr. West Ham. Just before we do, don't give him the benefit of the doubt, Bruno. The player was accident prone. So are you? Right, let's rate Noble then. The highest rating so far.
Yeah, an 8. It's weird because I'll go hands up because I'm one of the ones that always says I don't want him to start. I don't want him in position. Before the Wolves game, I was saying I'd rather play like frigging Coventry there, 4 hours, even Diop. But he has found some form of consistency again. You know, it's every time as a fan base we go, right, it's finally time for Noble to like let go of the reins, let someone else take control. He comes back in and gives a performance again.
Yeah.
You know, and it's no coincidence again that, as I said earlier about Cresswell, that 2 guys that probably had most stick at the start of the season, through the season, is Cresswell and Noble. And yet they're 2 guys that it was when they both came off that we started falling apart. And I mean, that is, it sort of slides into what the substitution was when he came off. Didn't help at all. But that just shows you how much he was doing. I mean, bearing in mind that, is it Ndidi for Leicester supposed to be like, you know, one of the best holding midfielders in the league, like destructive midfielders. And Noble pocketed him for 75 minutes.
He did.
You know, 33 going on 34-year-old Mark Noble, who hasn't got the legs anymore, pocketed him. You know, he was putting in good tackles. He was breaking up the play. I mean, the thing that basically finished him off, that fly-in block on the edge of the box that, like, whatever done to his thumb or his arm, you know, took one for the team there to make sure we got the 3 points.
Yeah.
He was always communicating, pointing out. Yes, maybe having him in the team means we're not seeing as much of the attacking aspect of Soucek.
Mm.
But he's come in fairness to him, and we've picked up, you know, before this little run of games, I don't think we'd picked up more than a point in the games he'd started in the Premier League, and now we've won 2 games in a row. So,
Stato's here with the stats on the player rating show.
everything that's good about Noble's come out in the last 2 games, and maybe that's because we're only playing once a week. You know, he hasn't got to try and play Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, or Wednesday, Saturday. But
yeah,
I gave him an 8. Maybe I'll be generous. I don't know. See what the chat says.
So the chat are kind of agreeing with you, so I'm going to scroll up because a lot of comments coming. Anton has gone for a 9, Noble a decent 7, Stell's always just down 1, isn't he? 10 out of 10 from Happy Hammer, 8 showing he is still a leader. Nobes 8, Noble not a bad game 7, 9 has proved everybody wrong. Zach says me too, Matt, but it's an 8. Noble for football play 5 for his captaincy by by bullying over players and stomping on them, which changed the game and slowed their constant fouling. 9, there we go. Solid 7. Now getting up to speed in his role. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So some more. I mean the Masuaku chat's still going on. It will still be going on at 8:30. Masuaku is error prone.
It'll still be on about 11 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't even got his West Ham Weekly tonight, but he'll still be on here saying Masuaku is injury prone. No, not injury prone. He's error prone. He should not play. Why is he come back? Why is he starting? But we'll move on to the Czech man. In the midfield, Tomas Soucek. Oh, that video finished a bit quick there. Tomas Soucek, what did we give him, Matt?
So, I mean, I've given him a 7. And I don't know if I'm kind of doing him a bit of disservice. He's been a bit quiet the last 2 games. But then
I thought this game was his better game than... I thought he was better the other day than he was against Wolves, in my opinion.
But, like, I don't know if I'm, like... Because he is playing alongside Mark Noble. And he knows that Noble probably can't cover the same amount of ground that Rice does. So I feel like he's probably maybe thinking I need to sit more and not commit as much because he's sitting next to Mark Noble. But having said that, he's still getting up and down the pitch all game. Good little pass for the assist for Bowen. Going back, putting tackles in. Always useful in the air, winning headers in both boxes.
Yeah.
Made a couple of late interceptions that were quite critical. So, I've said 7, but maybe I should be putting him on 8 alongside Noble. Maybe I've been a bit harsh. Just because of the standards he set himself, like for his own standards, it was kind of a quiet game. But then it's a 7, so that just shows you. Like for anyone else, that'd be like a 5, but for Soucek standards, it's still a 7, and he was quiet.
Wow, you're getting people aren't agreeing with you in the chat. 8, Soucek 8, always a solid 8 for Soucek. 100 out of 100, even though these ratings are out of 10. I like it. Happy Hammer. Fresh Fielder agrees with you. 7 solid, if not spectacular. Oh, Matty boy. Soucek 7. Yeah, here we go. Matt, you give Masuaku a 6 and Soucek 7. Matt, you're being told off by Stella. You're being told off. But we've all got our opinions. I'm being told it's pronounced Soucek. I do apologise, Soucek. Soucek. Right, so that is Tomas Soucek done. As we move up in, we will move on to... I think he's warming to people. I really, really do. He's putting in the performances and he's doing really, really well. It's that man, Pablo Fornals. Somebody must have noticed that I was trying to talk a bit there about him because I couldn't find the video clip, but I found it. But Fornals, then, what are you giving him, Matt?
I've given him 7 again as well as Soucek. Again, he's a tireless worker. His link-up play between the defence and the attack starting to come into play. He's always, what Moyes likes, he's always a willing runner. He's always going to do the dirty running. He'll always track back and cover. He's now slowly starting. Like it's almost like he built it in stages. That first he brought in the running, then he brought in the defensive side, and now he's slowly bringing in the attacking play. And if we can get anywhere near like the form he was in when we bought him, he'll be hitting 8s and 9s every week. You know, could have had a goal himself. He's always a tidy player on the ball. You know, he's starting to pick up. You know, he's starting to retain possession better, getting those attacking options in.
People think you're being harsh.
It's an out of 10 rating, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's one that goes under the radar. So maybe I've taken him under the radar and given him 7. Maybe he should have had higher. But what we're here for.
I think a 7 or an 8. So we're going 8 there. Come on, Stel. It's not 8.5. It's not 0.5.
Don't do 0.5, Stel. You can't sit on that fence, mate. It's an 8 or a 9.
We want solid numbers.
Yeah, we don't do half, Stel.
No, we don't do it here. This is... Oh, there you go. It is West Ham versus Leicester player ratings, and we don't do half numbers. 8. Let's have a look. Mark is saying 8. Got to becoming one of the first names on the team sheet completely. 8. He's a machine. 8. He is brilliant at cutting off the outlets. I'm fully aware of his space. Harsh.com. Okay, then it's 9 for 4 now. See, there we go. We've convinced you.
Hang on, he gave Masuaku a 4, and he's given 4 now as a 9.
It's coming back. It's coming forward back from Matt tonight. From Matt and from Matt and Stel tonight. Definitely. Well, it's splitting opinions again. Because that's what it is. And he got a 10 last week. All the way from, I think, the Mancunian Maradona. He got a 10 last week. Will he get a 10 this week? Let's find out. Not quite a 10, Matt.
Well, I'm giving him a 9. As I said, I don't do halves, so it was a 9 or a 10. And, you know, I'm trying to be, Look, it's weird because someone kept making a comment during the game that he was having like somewhat of a quiet game. You know, I think Leicester were trying to make more effort to block him out, but still denying the quality of that first goal was just, you know, if it was just rating goals alone, that goal would be a 10. Yeah. The technique was insane. And then, you know, he got the second goal. It was obviously a tap-in, but that was good work from Bowen, but he was in the right place. And it's frustrating. I think it's frustrating for him because it seems like the last 3 weeks we'll get through the first sort of 50 minutes doing well attacking, and then we just go, we're just going to pile everyone park behind the bus now and try and let everyone do it. And he gets left to try and do it on his own.
Yeah, I feel Lingard and Bowen, you know, they do it so hard in the last 3 games. They work so hard in the first half that they do fizzle out a bit. And Stel says it. 9 Lingard just phases out in the last 15 minutes. Right. Come on, Stel. I'm reading the comments out too. Blimming right. I gave Masuaku a 4, and he's lucky he got that. In fact, Masuaku scored for that comment. It's down to 3. Come on, we're not on Masuaku. We're well past that now. We are on the Mancunian Maradona. Right. So Anton is saying I'm a 9. Messi Lingard. He gets a 10. Now you got to come back at Anton. Now Anton's firing the shots now as well. But Matt gave him a 10 last week for a carbon copy performance.
I thought his overall play for the team was better last week in the Wolves game. I thought he was, in an attacking sense, he contributed a lot more. Like he was dropping back more, picking the ball up, carrying it more. It did seem a lot more this week that they'd essentially, even though it was Bowen that was playing up front, that they basically targeted Lingard and was like, right, he's not getting the ball, he's not touching it. We're going to try and block him out of the game.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you could do for that goal. I'm sorry, like that, the bend he got on that ball to put in the bottom corner, there was nothing they can do about that. Doesn't matter how many people you put on him.
Completely. Neil says 9. He did fade a bit in the second half. 9. That bend on that goal, yes, completely. Clicked on the wrong comment. Solid 8 again. 8. Ooh. 9. No hat trick. No hat trick. No, come on, you've got to get a hat trick. We're not having anything less. No hat trick and tied towards the end. Very critical. 9. Lingard 9. There you go. Blah. Anton's not having any of it. Fresh Fielder says 8. His display for a while. Bought a lot of frees. But goes to ground far too easy. Hey, young Jake Stato. Hi, Kieran. Hope you are well. Right, so we'll move on. He had a fantastic game. Did this man? It is time to rate Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen, then.
I've given him a 9 as well. I mean, I did say on the match day that Lingard was around the match, but he considering he's had to step into playing up front again, and he's scored back-to-back goals now. Is it 3 games? Has he scored 3 games running as well?
Yeah, I think he has.
Him and Lingard between them. He's in our hour of need, shall we say? He's really stepped up in that number, in the centre forward role. It was a good finish. Made a good run to the box to get his goal. Brilliant running behind, an awareness for the second goal, which is something he always gets. People always critical of, that his decision making at times can be bad, but brilliant run and assist. Again, he's a bit like Fornals. He's always a tireless runner. You're always going to get 110% out of him. He'd always hassle and harry and close down. He'd done well. He was a constant runner. He's always an option on the counter attack. His back to play goal was actually developing quite well during the game. He started winning free kicks by bringing the ball into feet and taking the foul from behind.
Yeah.
Took him a little while to get into the game because they were just kicking lumps out of him at the start of the game. I guess they identified he was going to be the main threat.
I feel that for the first 20 minutes, we couldn't get into it, and I think he must have been the most foul player on the pitch because he did win quite a lot of fouls. But let's have a look. So we're rating Bowen 9. It's like 7. Last week it was about 8 7s I had to read out last week for one, but I forgot it was. Bowen, a very solid 9. He will be our new summer striker signing. Come on, Stel. Come on, surely you don't know that. Come on, Stel. The bearer of good news. We're going to buy a striker. Fresh Fielder, Bowen, 8. His display for a while. Bought a lot of frees, but goes to ground far too easy. Oh, sorry, yeah. Thought that was a bit strange. Posted that one while you're on Lingard. Not to worry. Yeah, Neil says, hope you're wrong, Stel. So do I. 9 makes himself busy. Must be a nightmare to play against. Getting his head. Yeah. I feel he's definitely getting himself more around. And since he scored that goal against Wolves, he's getting back into it a bit more. Eamon says, I made Bowen man of the match because he contributed more than Lingard. Bowen 9. Lingard 8. 9 played out of position and held up the ball. We considering how small he is. 3 in 3. He's getting back to form. But Jake, I do know that ITK. Yeah, all right, Stel. All right. 8.9, almost as good as Lingard. 8.9. 8 from Scott. So we've Matt has gave his ratings for the whole starting 11. Now, just before we move on to the subs, the ref, and the gaffer, please comment, like, and subscribe. Just for you, Stel. Just for you. Wow. I know you like that music, Stel. So, yeah, it's a tune. That is a tune. I will give it to Anton. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. But we will move on in to our substitutes then. He had to come on early for an injury. He slotted into that third centre-back position. Fabian Balbuena. Took that off. It was annoying me. It was annoying me because I have one headphone ear off because these headphones are really good. So I can't hear myself when I'm speaking. So I've got to have one ear off, and it wouldn't do it with the hat. It was too much hassle. But Fabian Balbuena, rating?
I mean, people might say I'm being too generous with him. I've put him down for a 7.
Yeah.
Now, considering that's the first time I think he's played since January, and he stepped over into that right-hand side against Vardy.
He did.
You wouldn't have known he hadn't played in like 3 months, 4 months.
True.
Like, you know, he was confident in the air. He done really well keeping Vardy quiet, putting good blocks and clearances when needed. Yes, I can see Stell sitting there saying, "Oh, but you know, he should have dealt with that cross for the second goal." Well, he should have, but then he took a massive deflection off Diop, so he would have set himself up and then had to readjust. Like, it's one of them things. But you know, he came in and I wasn't worried when he came. You know, sometimes you make a sub and you're like, "Oh, we're going to struggle now." Like this person's, you know, and no, he just come in and he'd done the job. Like every centre back seems to have done this season. Whenever someone's gone out injured, someone else will almost come straight back in and done as good as the person that left. You know, in fairness, the goals didn't come down from his side. They switched over and they come down from the left-hand side. He was on the pitch for 40 minutes. So, you know, nearly 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Done his job we needed. I'd give him a 7. Maybe people think that's too generous, harsh.
Too generous, people are saying. Stell says Balbuena 4. Part to blame for their second. Along with Masuaku. Get it in there, Stell. Get it in there. Every single racing, you know, with Masuaku, this player was not good enough. Along with Masuaku, who should have cut the cross out. Balbuena, 7. It's only a tune because it only lasted 15 seconds any longer. It would have been a headache. No, don't diss the tunes. Don't diss the tunes. And Anton should be in the corner like, excuse me. Those tunes are very, very good. Thank you very much. 6. Mark says 6. Of course, Stell agrees.
Don't listen to Stell.
Stell's getting a battering tonight. Scott says Balbuena was a little off but decent. He can be very consistent but thrives when he plays regularly. 5. 6. 6 could have done better for the goal, but it took a slight deflection off Diop on the way through, so we'll let him off. It is hard to rate subs, and it'll be even harder if we're going to give a rating. We're going to give a rating to the other 2 players. At least it's not another copyright strike like Stell's video last night. I did watch a bit of that, and he did a video so we could have a sip of his beverage, and I thought, oh, is this going to be another strike on the on it? Stell just goes, oh wow. Oh well. But we will try now to give a rating for the other 2 substitutes. We will go to Saeed Benrahma first now. He was given very little amount of time yet again, but let's rate him.
Now, I can't actually remember what we put down for this. I think I've put down like 6 or nothing.
We put down nothing before.
Like, yeah,
we put
down nothing. And that's not a knock
I'll put NA.
on Benrahma, but he come on in like the 84th minute, and I don't even really remember him touching the ball. I think he had one opportunity where he done a good bit of skill and he could have put someone in on the wing, and then he didn't. But let's be honest, he came on as an attacker for the last 12 minutes when the ball spent the entire way going in the opposite direction, and we cleared it, we never found him. So, I mean, somewhere between a 5 and a 6 is like what you'd get at the start. You know, if you started a game, everyone would be on like a 5/6, wouldn't they? But I didn't put anything down because he wasn't even on the pitch that long.
No, you did. 5, I can't even remembering. All right, we'll put something down.
The most you could put like a 5 or a 6. Because that's the score you get. Like when the game kicks off, everyone sits on the same score. At the most, you could put that because he was on the pitch 12 minutes, and we spent the whole time
defending
with the ball. Yeah, so
the copyright banter's still gonna first time for me, and like Anton's constant copyright.
I highly doubt that.
You doubt that, yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Benrahma not enough time to get involved. 5. Benny struggled, and to be fair, was subbed for the wrong player. 5. The Anton's gone 3.
Oh, and people say I'm harsh. Say that, Mark.
I feel we didn't have enough time when we were constantly defending. Yes, he didn't pick the ball up and go as much as we'd like, but it's a bit harsh, Anton. It's a bit harsh. Yeah, it is hard to rate. It is hard. 5 Blah, 6. Benny 6, but it's unfair judging him. Yeah, it really is 6. Benrahma 4. Yeah, to be honest, I don't doubt for a second he will become good. Yeah. What are we rating him on? To be fair, we've got to.
Exactly.
But
exactly. Like.
Yeah. Stu says, hello, you're on young Jake, running the show and killing it. Good boy. Thank you very much. And to Matt as well. Give Matt some credit as well, because he's got all the stats in his brain. They're all brewing and ready to come out. And some good stats for Masuaku, just to wind Stella up that bit more. But the last substitution that did come on, he was put in a strange position. He didn't really know what he was doing, but we'll get to it in just a second. Ben Johnson. He came on into the centre midfield, which I thought was very, very strange. Why don't bring Connor Coventry on in there? He was sat on the bench, putting a right back in central midfield. he looks lost, and I was just lost for words. But rating.
Well, I mean, I think we put the same, didn't we? Because I mean, I think he came on like 2 minutes, 3 minutes earlier than Benrahma did. Benrahma spent like 10 minutes warming up, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh no, Johnson's coming on." And we think, Benrahma's coming a few minutes later. Again, I think we put no rating or a 6 because I felt sorry for him. I mean, this is where you could go 3 and you'd be like, it's harsh, but it'd be accurate. But I know he's turned into a utility player. And I know that we ended up finding out years ago that Jonathan Spector, even though we played all the way across the back 4, that his best position was holding midfield, and that was like one of his last games to play for us. But Johnson is not a holding midfielder. Johnson's a fullback / a wing back that can play on either side of the wing. Like you said, you brought him on at holding midfielder when you got Connor Coventry on. You know what? We still had Alves on the bench, who's a centre back. If you wanted someone to just sit in front of the back 4 that was defensive minded, you should just put him on.
Yeah,
at least he would have just sat in the middle. Like you brought on. You brought on essentially what his actual position is a right wing back? Right back,
right back, yeah.
Who can do a really good job on the left hand side. You brought him on to play holding midfielder, and he had no idea what to do. And you notice right at the end of the game, like in injury time, he was playing like a second left back.
It was very, very strange. It was strange.
He basically made it into a back 6.
Yeah,
because he just gave up doing the middle because he didn't know what he was doing. So it's really harsh to give him any sort of rating. Not because he didn't play well, because he just, it'd be like trying to rate Diop playing up front. It's not supposed to be up there.
Sel says poor Johnson 3 as the game passed him by, but absolutely not his fault. Yeah, Johnson 6, 4, not enough time. 10, did nothing wrong. Fair enough. Last couple of comments, Ben. Ben Johnson is kind of a utility player. He often has to quickly get up to speed. Played in one position. I think he could develop more. He was a 5 as he didn't directly cause any goals or solve any problems. Yeah, I completely agree. Right, so 2 people left to rate. Firstly, we will go on to the gaffer, David Moyes. Moyes then, what we gave Moyes?
I think I've spoken about this. It's weird because I've been really critical of him the last couple of weeks. I kind of think I have to start giving him like a better rating because as critical as I've been, we've still been getting points.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah,
I would have given him a 9, but he's losing a mark for his subs.
Yeah, I think the subs were the subs were really quite strange. Really were strange.
I can't question the tactics anymore because we've just played Leicester, Wolves, and Arsenal, and we picked up 7 points and scored 9 goals. He's clearly given up on defending. We've got 9 cup finals left, which we're going to attack all 9 games, and we're going to score the goals that we win. and then we'll worry about defending later. Because that seems to be the logic at the moment. We'll smash 3 goals in the first half for the first 50 minutes, and then we'll try and see out the game.
Eight seems to be what's coming in, But I feel, starting lineup, I think that's what we all expected Moyes to do, and that's what he did. So I don't think we can really.
As I said, I would have given him a 9, but I know that the subs were enforced, but I feel like Benrahma should have probably come on maybe 10 minutes earlier, like about the 75th minute, because that then gives him 15 minutes. So he's got 5-10 minutes to get into the game, and then 5-10 minutes where he can actually have an impact and get. So, bringing him on when they did with 6 minutes to go just wasn't enough time for him to even really get up to speed in the game.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the Ben Johnson one, he literally brought the wrong player on. So
I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know what people were telling him to bring Johnson on and put into that centre midfield position, but who knows?
I don't think that's been harsh, but
yeah. Ratings coming in: Moyes 7 and would have been 8 if he brought Coventry on to play in midfield. Moyes 8, decent game plan. He'd be higher if we could justify the subs. Yeah, this is what we're saying. 8, another win would do. Moyes at 8 for the starting lineup. 10 out of 10. He picked a team to win, and they did just that. Yeah. We'll move on then to the last player. Well, not really a player. Mike Dean, yellow card merchant, foul merchant, but very quickly, let's rate Mike Dean. What do we think, Matt?
Well, you know what? It's weird. This was actually a really, in the grand scheme of things, this was a really quiet game for Mike Dean. He gave out some yellows at the start of the game against West Ham players, and we're like, really?
Yeah.
But then later in the game, Leicester players made the same sort of tackles and he gave them yellows. So you're like, okay, Mike Dean's at least calling it down the middle. The only one I can really think that I was getting annoyed about was at the start, they were sort of giving some like little knocks and kicking like ankles, and he weren't really penalising them. And I'm sure indeed he probably should have gone for a second yellow. And I couldn't believe, as it's Mike Dean, he didn't pull out a second yellow.
Exactly.
But that's the only thing I'm really talking about for a Mike Dean game, is that he didn't get out a second yellow. For Mike Dean, that's actually quite a quiet game. So I'm going to give him a 6, to be fair. I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. Let's dive into the comments very, very quickly then. Dean 4, laughing out loud. 5, Dean probably a 7, but I despise the guy. Yeah. Dean worried me when he booked Soucek early and he bottled it because Ndidi should have been sent off. But give that it was Dean and could have been worse. 7. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he did. I'm really surprised he didn't send Ndidi off, because that was perhaps a more justified. Offense. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like Mike Dean loves giving out a red, so when they were like presented to him wrapped up with like a bow on top, there you go, there's your red, and he was like,
send somebody off.
Fine.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. But the last 2 people to rate is us, and we've been given our own little pictures as well. Me, and Matt, pictures taken from last week there. I think I'm still wearing that same jacket. Yeah, I am. Obviously, I haven't worn it throughout the whole week.
Haven't taken it off, Jake.
No, I have taken it off. Let's rate the hosts. But in 3 minutes, please head over to my channel, West Ham Unofficial. I'm going to put the link in the chat. There it is. Got a very good interview with Dylan Tombides' mum and brother and Josie. They're talking about testicular cancer, DT38, and all of that kind of thing. So that premieres in just a couple of minutes' time, and let's see what people were saying. 10 out of 10 for us. Jam, I like this. Jam, 10 out of 10. Jam, do the player ratings. Matt, solid 7. Jake, 9. That's harsh. Well, you can't give us different.
I was quite critical of my scores, wasn't I? I've rocked the boat, Jake.
Yeah, you are. Jake, 9. Stato up this game, unlike Masuaku, so 9 for Stato. 3 for Masuaku, and 1 for Anton for being Scottish. No, Come on, we can't write ads on. He's just doing comments. I've had no. Jake 10, Matt 10, top show. Thank you very much. Yeah, please head over to West Ham Unofficial at 8 p.m. minus 100 for Stell's football knowledge. And 10 out of 10 for the host putting up with Stell and Anton's handbags. It's true. But anyway, that's another week done. That's another 3 points on the board. We sit in 4th position. Me and Matt will be back next Tuesday for another player rating show. If Masuaku plays, we'll see another very low Masuaku rating from Stelios, but we will see. We'll be back very, very soon. Come on, you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Any last words, Matt?
Let's hope we get another win this weekend and we can give some more 7s, 8s and 9s next week.
There we go. We'll leave it there. Come on, you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, all of that stuff. And we'll be back very, very soon. Come on, you guys, and goodbye.